Good morning, everybody. I have a guest host this morning, Mr. Norris of the Norris family, of the Hogwarts Norrises. I don't know, yeah. He's settling down and it involves a lot of head rubbing. Now, why are you here? To see a kitty cat or to see some knitting? So this is my little knitting podcast called Babbles Travelling Yarns. This is episode 34 or 5. I can't remember. Oopsie, should have looked that up. Oh well. And my name is Grace. You can find me as Vanna Willamille on Instagram, on Ravelry and Periscope, and also on Patreon. So I've started a Patreon page, and I just want to say thank you so much to all the patrons that have helped me out the last couple of weeks. It's been absolutely brilliant. It's been so exciting. I've hit my first goal already, which has helped me to keep going the virtual knit nights that I host regularly on Tuesday nights, British Standard Time, GMT +1 British Summer Time, because I'm in Ireland at the moment. So it's Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. and Saturday nights at 8 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock. Now today is Sunday the 12th or 13th? 14th? What do you think, Norris? What date is it? He's no help. I'll put it down on screen. And it is 7:15 in the morning, and I'm trying to record before the virtual knit night for Sunday morning, which also suits Australians as well. So if you have been missing out on the virtual knit nights, it's going to be at Sunday afternoon, evening, depending on which side of Australia you're on, give or take 3 hours. So I just want to say thank you so much to all the patrons that have helped me out, just funding that little section of the VKNs, because they do cost a little bit of money and a little bit of time to organise. So I really appreciate everyone who's donated. And I hope that you're enjoying what's happened since, because I think it's a bit more organised and I quite enjoy it because I can plan around it then. Excuse me. I can plan around it, and we still have a few impromptu knit nights and things like that, which I do put up on Instagram occasionally, but at least you can plan, so say like, okay, Tuesday nights during the week, and then Saturday night and Sunday morning. So but sometimes we do have Friday nights and every other night of the week too. But I've been quite busy in work at the moment, just learning a lot of things, and I have been doing a couple of late shifts, which is kind of impeached on my VKNing a little bit. So it's nice that I know that I have a couple of them booked and ready to go, which is nice. And I know I have somewhere to tell people if the times have changed or anything like that, but hopefully it shouldn't for the foreseeable. So what am I drinking? I am drinking some Twinings Assam tea with some lemon in it because it's gorgeous. And I have it in this really pretty little glass jug, which makes me feel classy and like I'm in a cafe, and not just at home in my parents' sunroom. That's where I am at the moment. I'm in Limerick in Ireland, and I've been here for the past couple of months. But before that, I was traveling around the world. I was traveling around Southeast Asia, Australia, a teeny meeny bit of New Zealand, a little bit of Canada and Vancouver and Penticton and New York, and also LA, actually, counting LA in that. Hi, Carmen. So should we start with some knitting? Shall we? Might as well. So I've got a half finished object. Should be HFO really, shouldn't it? But they don't call them. Yeah, because we call them finished objects, FOs. This should be a HFO. Anyway. This is the Villamo Kelebsdotter, and it is a cable pattern, which is a cable sock pattern, which is now available. Ooh. And it is sold by it's on Ravelry, and it is a paid for pattern, I believe. Miss Norris, are you done? Are you done now? Okay, fine. Be like that. He's going to wander around and find the hottest spot in the room, which is me. You're not going to find a hotter spot than this. Sassy podcasting. That's how we do it. Now, Villamo Caleb's Daughter. That is what this sock is. And it is by Anna Freiberg. And it is currently, I think it's just gone up. It's just gone up for sale on Ravelry, which is, oh, it's so pretty. I am in love with this cable design. When it goes onto your foot, so if you look at it here, it's a little bit like, I'm not sure what's happening sometimes. Maybe it's the yarn that I used, but, and then when it goes onto your foot, it like spreads out into this glorious, like, little soft, meandering cable that just pops up the foot. Now, I was very lazy. I'm sorry, Anna, and I did just a normal rib here, but it should be a twisted rib like this, so it looks a bit messy, I think, and that's my fault entirely. She's got a very interesting heel flap and gusset construction. So if you see, normally, don't the heel flap decreases, they work along here, but Anna works them along the bottom, which actually is really comfortable on my foot. I really like it. I really enjoy it. The heel is built, so Anna herself has quite a high arch. So the heel is built for high arches, which is great. But I don't have high arches, but what I found is this little ribby bit holds everything in place. So it's really easy and comfortable to get on over my heel and over my foot, and then it stays on. So I feel like even if you don't have high arches, this sock is like really, really good. Excuse me. The pattern is incredibly detailed. She has written out step by step everything that you have to do, where to break the yarn, when to join up again. Everything is all completely organized. I mean, she's an incredible pattern designer and writer, I think. I just really enjoy this toe. Look at it, or this heel. The gusset, it runs up here either side. I don't know, it kind of makes my heel feel cozy. And I really like the slip stitch heel. I enjoy that immensely. And I need a sock blocker really, but I think you can see what I'm doing. But the yarn that I used was Copper Penny by K-Zip Knits. And I bought this in Vancouver in West Coast Wools. And it's the Highland Fingering 80% wool, 20% polyamide, 100 grams, 357 yards. So, and it's a really high twist yarn and it's really plump, so it's perfect for cables. And I think the colorway is perfect as well. You know, it's not too busy, but it's still quite interesting all the same. I really, really like it. Love it. And the contrasting color was given to me by Kate. And this is Wonderland Yarns Sock Fingering. And it's superwash merino. But I really like the colors. I have tons of it, so I can do a lot of darning if I need to. Yeah, I feel bad about that, but not really. So yeah, I really, really like that. I think the colors just go super well together. Shanda, one of my patrons, was saying that it looks like a strawberry. I was like, yes, it does! Because it kind of looks quite red sometimes, but it's like a burnt orange color. And then, no, she was saying it was like a Christmas sock. I was like, yeah! And then someone else was saying it was a strawberry. I can't remember. Anyway, it makes me happy. So I've only got one, and I've yet to cast on the other one. Because second sock syndrome. I told you, everybody. I told you. Past Grace, why did you only cast on one? Oh yeah, to make sure I had one done for the test knit. I must cast it on. Oh, they're actually incredibly cozy to wear. So I'm thinking I have enough time to do without Christmas. For, you know, if I have it done for next Christmas, I'll be proud of myself. I wish I already I was halfway through the other one or something. Anyway, you know what? We can't look back now. That's where we are. We've got to deal with it. So thank you so much, Anna, for letting me test knit that pattern. I'm sorry if I wasn't much use. There was people in that test knit that were extremely like detailed about, you know, where they were going, like what they thought the pattern should be doing, and I was just like la 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 knitting knitting knitting, and I think I'm the worst test knitter. I think people should stop asking me to test knit their stuff because I'm the worst. But at least no, I didn't. Well, I kind of no, I didn't. I don't even know if I finished on time. I did, but I don't think I let anybody know. Okay, do you know what? Let's just call a moratorium on test knitting. I just don't know if I can do it anymore because I feel like I don't do it well. You know, there's some people who are incredibly detailed. I don't know if I've been knitting long enough, and I kind of tend to go off and do my own thing. So following a pattern is like really difficult for me. And I know test knitters really value like, designers like really value sticking with the pattern and making sure you go through everything so everything makes sense to you. Whereas sometimes I skim, and I'm a skimmer, and you know, I'm carrying it around, and I knit everywhere, which means that I don't often have time to sit down and go through the pattern and read it when I'm like on the bus or when I'm in a car with somebody or talking to somebody, and I'm like, oh well, I know this pattern, so I'm just going to keep doing this pattern, and I'm the worst, I'm sorry. But I am delighted that I got to make one before anybody else. I just love it. My first proper cabled sock. Now I did make a pair of cabled mittens. Well, they were trying to be socks, if anybody remembers that, this time last year or earlier on in the year. I was trying to do that, and then the gauge was too tight because cables pull in, but I didn't know that at the time. I just didn't know that. Oops. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? So everything else that I had was kind of in the transition stages to getting a little bit complicated. So I had to stop and start something else because I had a friend over. I had Barbara from Knitting I Love. She came over, and she came yesterday, and she came with a big package, and I was like, what? Yeah, stop it. But she gave me, it was actually it was a parcel, it was a present for James, but I had to knit it first. So this is Drops Fable, in this gorgeous colorway. It's kind of like a fade. It kind of does a long repeat, and this really, really nice contrast color for heels, cups, and toes. So cute. So thank you so much, Barbara. And do you know? So Barbara has a shop. For Knitting I Love shop, and it's Knitting I Love at www.knittingilove.com. You can get them on there. And she gave me one of these. These are little tags that you can put on your knitting to like show that you made them. And aren't they so cute? I love this little green sheep. Oh my gosh. So they come in all different colors. And she gave me one of these for me and one of these for you. So I'm going to put it in my prize package, my prize dump for, I think for the Final Wonders of the World thread. So I think they're so cute. So you just attach them on. I like this one. Maybe I'll keep this one. I don't know. I can't tell. It's going to be so hard to choose. So yeah. Thank you so much, Barbara. You're the sweetest. I also, while she was coming over, I was like, hey, could you like bring some of your pouches, because I've always wanted one, and she did. So I bought two pouches. One is this beautiful cafe latte colorway, which is, you know, like a really nice coffee and milky creamy color. So I think, I can't remember what she called this design now. She's got a couple of designs up now. I think there's 2 designs at the moment, and she's got a couple more in the works, which are super cool. And where did I put the other one? Other one? Oh yeah, over here. This one. I love this one. And I don't think it's in the shop yet, but keep your eye on it. I'm making you do it now, Barbara, aren't I? I'm making you put all these things up. This, I think she might be calling it the berry colorway. It's just this beautiful like fuchsia pink with this nice, really nice contrasting grey. And they're both for me. Yay! So these are super pretty. Now, and I'll show you how I use them. I actually would like to use this one for my bullet journal because you can, this top part is open, so you can pop a ruler in there and then your pen's in this side and it kind of clicks onto, I'll show you. Oh, Mr. Norris has found a spot. I want to move my lip. So this is my bullet journal. And what I want to do is, I need to get a few nice pens and stuff. So you attach it like this, and you can either attach it to the side there if you've got a ruler coming out the top, or I'm sure it will be able to fit in as well. But also the pens just fit in there. And it's just so handy because it all stays together. I am forever losing my pen for my bullet journal. Forever. And I'm like, oh, that was a nice one. Because you always get a nice one. You nice pen for your bullet journal, don't you? I do anyway. So I'm going to keep this with this. I like the pink with the black. That's super nice, actually. Nice. So yeah, that's what I want to use that for as well. But also what they're used for is, well, their main original use was actually for keeping control of your knitting needles when they're in a bag, because they're kind of all dangly around. I'll talk about what I'm actually using it for in a minute. So what you do is, I got a private tutorial from Barbara. So you pop them together and then you get the knitting to the end and then you just wrap it around like that. Open up the pouch, pop the needles in there and then kind of pop it through the circle and hold the cables. So it's like neat and tidy, and just pop it in your bag. Hooray! So that's amazing. It's just so handy because everything's together then, and you're not worried about like pulling apart your knitting, because I often like find one needle and I start pulling and I'm like, stop it, go find the other side. But both sides are together in this. And if you do, like, if you pull this one out, like, it will come out, but it won't go any farther than that, you know, because your knitting is caught through this loop. It's amazing and pretty. So let's talk about what I'm actually knitting here. So I am knitting the wonderful suggestion by Chanel of the Piper Now podcast. I'm knitting the Summerleaf Shawl by Nim Teasdale. So the Summerleaf Shawl is an incredibly adjustable pattern, really beautiful lacy leaf pattern. And I'm knitting this for a friend of mine who's getting married in August, so I better hurry up. I'm using this incredible silky Fiberspates yarn, and it's the natural base. It's white, but it's kind of creamy, and I know that I hope that it's the right color. I might make two and see if I can, because I have the white from the previous thing that I was going to be making, and that's very white. So the previous thing I was making was the Cœur d'Amour, but I couldn't figure it out because it's very complicated. So I put that down. I did get pretty far. I haven't bound off and created a doily yet, so I've got these needles trapped on it. But this one is a lot more white, I think. Well, maybe it's just... I feel like it's more white. Anyway, It's lace, so it's a lot thinner. So it would be a lot lacier to do. I just do it on smaller needles, I think, and then just block it out. But yeah, so this is the beginnings of the Coeur d'Amour, which I have not gotten any farther, but it looks really pretty, doesn't it? But it's all messed up. So I'm sorry, I can't do it. Maybe later when I'm a really good lace knitter. Really good. Yeah, start small, Grace. I don't really go for small, do I? I tend to go a bit nuts. You guys, I just hit a milestone. I ran out of space on my fancy new 128 gigabyte phone. I feel I have reached a milestone. So I spent the last 20 minutes deleting like lots of videos that I haven't deleted in like months. So yay! So that you can probably see the lights changed quite a lot, my hair's changed quite a lot, and that's fine. So I was talking about my Summerleaf Shawl by Nim Teasdale. And so I'm starting off with this pattern is incredibly adjustable, so you can knit stockinette for as long as you want and just add a few leaves at the bottom, or you can just start straight into the leaves. I decided to do a bit of stockinette just to kind of get the hang of the yarn and everything and see how it's going. So I have two skeins of the yarn, so I think I'll see how I go with one and see how far it gets me, and then I might just do a bit of the second one as well, because it would be nice to have a nice big shawl, but not too big, you know? Anyway, so I'm at the point now where I really want to start my the leaf pattern, but I need to sit down and concentrate on that. And I've been busy with visitors and VKNs, so I haven't got around to that yet. But I only cast this on the other day, so that's not too bad, hey? So my next whip is a hat, the Hemisphere hat, for the Hemisphere hat cal as part of the Wonders of the World. It's the 6-month cal, and actually once I got going, like, it's gone so fast, but it is very big now. It's a bit too big. I'm thinking of somehow ripping out the border, the ribbing on it, and making some sort of, maybe I'll just fold it back underneath. I might just tack it down underneath so you can just see Iceland. You know, you can just see, I'll show you the hat anyway and we'll see. So this is South America. I think South America came up super awesome. And this is Queen Maudland down here, part of Antarctica, I think. I'm not very good at Antarctic geography, even though it's fascinating to me. It's covered in Mr. Norris hair, because Mr. Norris is a hairy bottom at the moment and he's molting for summer. And then this is Africa, Madagascar, Africa, and it's coming out now to, you know, Mali and Malawi and all this bit up here. So Sahara Desert, I'm probably in the middle, I'm probably on the equator at the moment. How fun is that? And this is actually incredibly therapeutic. I'm really enjoying this because it comes up so quickly once you're going, you know? Dan, if you're watching from the Bakery Bears, I really recommend this pattern. It's really awesome, but I would try and find the gauge on it. This is bulky yarn and it's a bit too big, I think. Oh, but it's so squishy. It'd be great for someone with like big hair or dreads or a massive head, I think. Dreads would be awesome actually under this. I think it's, and this is only the medium size, but I did it. This is technically chunky yarn, but I think it's more of an Aran weight. It's not like super chunky. Anyway, so this is Australia. I think Australia came up so well. And New Zealand and the Philippines and Malaysia. And I've got a little bit of Singapore, Malaysia and Thailand happening here. This is the start of India. So when I'm finished the whole thing, I'm going to go back in with a metallic thread, like a gold. I think a gold would be nice. And actually, I'm going to sew in spots where I've been, and then also the flight paths. I'm going to do like a tacking stitch. I think it's so cute. I don't know how it's going to work with the elastic. Maybe I could get elastic gold thread. That would work quite well with the, you know, the hat stuff. but it is quite large at the moment. So if I tuck this under, maybe if I tuck this under, it looks very, very cozy, doesn't it? No, it doesn't look too bad. If I tuck it down, I might remove it altogether. But, excuse me, if I'm wearing it, I'll have a little makey-uppy dread of my own. But if I'm making it for myself, I think this would be a nice thing to keep my ears warm. So the decreases start now, and I have no idea how to decrease in double knitting, so I have to learn that before I carry on, which is a reason why I've stopped. Again, I'm at positions where I've stopped for everything. Super awesome hat here. So this will be the warmest hat in winter. So warm because it's double. But oh, okay. So it's double knitting. So I'm using a. Oh, I found out what this was called. Yarn guide. I think it's, yeah, a yarn guide, and you can get them on Knit Picks or loads of places for like $1.99, and it's super, super great. So I'm at the position where I need to decrease now, so I might knit back and show you. I showed you last time, but if anyone wants to learn how to double knit, Sockmatician, he's the boy. Do that. Go to him and see what he says, because he's amazing. So you're knitting on one side and you're purling on the other, but it comes up as knitting because, as you do, you know, when you purl on this on the front, it comes up as a knit on the back. So it's orange on the back here and brown on the front here, so it's reversible. So what I do is I knit on the portion that I want to face me, and then if I don't want the color, yeah, and then you always have to knit. You always have to purl a stitch the stitch after you knit. So with the opposite color. So a little purl there has made an orange stitch, and that's how you go. And this yarn guide is just great at keeping them separate. It's made it go so much faster and so much easier, and it's just like ready to go. I don't have to be, and it also kind of manages your yarn a bit because it's always straight there. I've had no problems whatsoever. So I'm about to probably run out of this brown, but I was smart and I got another one. So I have another one of these, and I have this much left. So I think I have enough of this. This is what I'm worried about. We might not have a North Pole. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully I'll have like a Scandinavia and stuff. But it starts to decrease fairly fast now, so I think it's going to be fine. Because you have to stick with the chart. The chart is very precise, and she has 3 or 4 different charts for 3 or 4 different sizes. And oh gosh, she must have gone through so much effort to sort it out, because it's incredible. This pattern is amazing. I might do another one in like the right yarn for myself. My tension is a bit funny as well. I have a couple of like loosey-goosey stitches, but that's my own problem. Now, the next thing I'm working on is my Water Lily. It's in Pom Pom issue, spring 2014. So it's by Megan Fernandez. And it's the little top. Now, I would recommend, before starting this pattern, because I've had a lot of people say they really want to knit this pattern, make sure you have an extra ball of 50 grams of yarn. Make sure you have it, because it's very short. If you're short in the body, you don't have to worry about it. It's fine. But if you are long in the body, like me, it's basically a crop top. I did not realize this when I was looking at the model, but she was wearing these high-waisted jeans. And anyway, whatever. So I'm using a Paddington 6-ply from Morrison & Sons down in Australia, which I'm kind of a bit... I might need to ask a friend to bring some up maybe later in the year if she has any space in her bag, if I need to. Anyway, it's the Piper colorway, 80% bamboo, 20% merino. Every episode I ask Katina or Linda to get me something. I'm really bad. That's the colorway. I'm not finished yet. I might have enough. I might have enough. Let's just see. But I definitely need more than 11 inches, 11 and a half inches in the body for this to go over my bust and look good. So I'll just show you. Oh no, oh God, it's all gone wrong. Everything's fine. So I think I just have an issue with sleeves and length of things. So if you see, this is supposed to be up here. This is where I start my lace. Lace section's up here. If I start my lace and go on for the lace, it's going to be here, which is not what one wants. And this is my belly button is right here. So I know that bamboo does drop, but it needs to drop like 6 inches. So yeah, what I've done is I've taken it off the needles. I've popped it on some waste yarn, and I had started I'm thinking of doing another thing now. Actually, it's just popped into my head. I'm thinking of starting the lace top down instead of bottom up. I need to work out how to do that, but I'm sure I could do that. But because this isn't quite working, but maybe I just need some brain space. So I provisionally cast on using a crochet method where you have the needle, you have a stitch on there, and you have the needle and you kind of wrap it around the hook and pull it through the stitch. Anyway, I got it out of a book, the cast on, cast off book, which is so useful. Do you know, if you don't have time to look up a video, or you're not in a situation where you can look up a video like in a virtual knit night and you have that book on you, oh my God, it's great. So yeah, I cast on provisionally the same amount of numbers that was in that. It seems like a lot. And I knit a few rounds in it, and then I started dividing for the yoke. And I didn't come up with the right numbers, and I don't know why. And I need to sit down and look at it properly. Anyway, I think if it doesn't work, I'll just do it top down. And I don't know how that's going to work either, but anyway, I'll have to sit down and think about that. I kind of just wish I had enough yarn, but I'm afraid that I won't. You know? I don't really want a belly top. And I'm afraid of like cutting off the shoulders, because then the lace might not match up, you know? Yeah. Anyway, that was some... So I'm having a bit of trouble with that. I'm knitting it on Chow Goose. I'm knitting it on Chow Goose size 3.5 millimeters, US 4, I believe. And they're beautiful. They're wonderful. I love them so much. Oh, that cable is amazing. You're able to manage stuff really easily on the cable. It doesn't do a jiggly-pokely thing. Technical term. Jiggly-pokely. So, as you can see, I'm at parts of all of my knitting, which is kind of complex and not very... If you have a confused brain, it's not great for working with it. So, yeah. Yesterday, when Barbara was around, I started a sockhead hat. And I started a sockhead hat with some yarn that was given to me by a dear friend, oh my gosh, Jocelyn, who's Muffin Gamem on Instagram. She is dyeing yarn. This is a beautiful sock yarn. I think it's definitely sock yarn, but it's so soft. And I started a sockhead hat for a friend of mine. And I started it on the same needle size that I was knitting the other hat out of. The other hat, I was holding 2 strands at a time for DK, but I thought, you know what, sockhead, I just need something easy and simple. And it's kind of, it's a wide gauge, so you can see there, but it's for a really slouchy hat, so I think that's going to be perfect. And it's just easy knitting, round and around and around and around. And I don't have any socks on the needles at the moment. And it's perfect because I just don't really want to be faffing with anything, really. So, yeah, It's nice for when I'm just, when I'm doing something else and I can't concentrate on a chart, or I can't figure out numbers, and now my breakfast has arrived. Well, hello. Would you like to say hello to the people?
Hello.
Service. Thank you. Hello. This is Grace from the future, from like 7 hours in the future from that time that you just saw just there. So I had that was a delicious breakfast, and then it was time for the Sunday morning VKN, which has turned out to be one of the most reasonable times for a lot of people. So that's really exciting. I'm definitely going to be running those again. And I have no idea where I was and what I talked about. I think I talked about everything, but I have knit so much farther on my sockhead. I was about here and now I'm here. Like, wow, Grace, that's impressive. So I just want to talk once more about this this project, because I realized I didn't mention what was happening here, because I had actually forgotten what I was doing. So I have actually got 2 different sizes of needles on here, which I think is making me knit faster. Maybe it's just my mind, but this one is a 4mm Chow which is a US 6. It's a 4mm interchangeable tip, and this one is a 3.25mm. So I don't know why I had set it up like this. No, I think I do. The previous hat I was knitting was at quite a tight gauge, and I was finding it difficult to put the stitches onto the needle. So what I did was I just made the needle smaller, because the stitches are all being made with the right hand needle for me, because I'm right-handed. So it really doesn't matter what the other needle size is, because they're just slipping off that. It doesn't actually make too much of a difference, and it makes it easier to get in. So it makes it go faster. But I'm thinking that probably loosens up my gauge quite a bit. I'm finding it really, really useful to do this. Now, I don't have the right needle size for this. This is an in-betweeny size between the 100cm and the small little hat needle sizes, but because these tips are quite long, I find the hat size quite difficult to work with the Chow Goose, because I was using the Haya tips to knit another thing. Was I? Is this Haya? What is this? Yes, yeah. So these are the Hayas. Sorry, the cable is like so lost in all of the stitches on the double knit hat. So these are the 4-inch Haya tips. So it's just a lot easier to go round and round and round on those, because they're the right size. So yeah. So these ones are slightly too long for the Chow Gu hat needle. So I might need the hat cable, which is like the 16-inch or whatever it's called. So I might need to invest in some short Chow Gus for hats, because hats, dudes, I'm doing 2 hats at once here. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. So on the VKN, oh my gosh, it was such a great VKN. We talked about so many things, but I've decided to do something different for my water lily, and I might as well tell you now. So I have set my amazing Australian people to a task of getting more balls of wool, so I won't run out of wool. So what I'm going to do is pick up all the rest of these stitches and knit the rest of the water lily to pattern. And then I'm going to try it on and see, I'll be like, right, it's far too short, which I know it will be. And I'm going to cut off the bottom here and just knit down the other way. So that's my plan. It might be a little bit crazy, but I like it. I like the plan. What I might do, instead of cutting the yarn, because I'm worried about it kind of blending in or something, I might just take it apart from the last ball and just whip off the last ball, and then just knit it and see how we go from there. So I think that's a better, because we were talking about maybe blocking it and letting it hang like outside with like weights on the end of it to see how much it would drop, and that might do something, that might straighten it out. But I'm thinking Kitchenering this all the way across would be a bad idea, because Kitchenering isn't always the neatest, and it's a really obvious place where you would be Kitchenering, and I think that would be a bad idea now that I'm thinking about it. So thank you, VKNers. That was really, really useful and helpful. Thank you so much. So that's made me feel better about that. And yeah, so that's the most recent update of my life. So I've talked about my FOs, I've talked about my whips, I've talked about my plans that I'm now doing differently. And I just want to talk about a present that was given to me by Barbara when she dropped over. I wasn't expecting this. Oh, did I already talk about it? Oh, I might have. Hang on. So I have no idea how long this was. This spanned a whole day. The sun started over there. It's now over there. It's been raining on and off all day, like thundering down. And then beautiful bright spells. So it's kind of a strange day of the west coast of Ireland. I've got a few little clips that I'm going to add in at the end here of my recent exploits of swimming in the Shannon River. Now, the Shannon River is the biggest river in the British Isles, and it is very long and very wide. The area that I go swimming is before it hits the big city of Limerick. So it has been travelling through quite a lot of the country, but it hasn't gone through the kind of the filthiest bit, which is down by the city. So it's relatively clean water, and I always have a shower afterwards anyway. But there's something about swimming in river water, like fresh river water. It's just like silk, and it's heating up slowly, like percentages of a degree at a time. And at the moment it's about 14 degrees. I started when it was 13 degrees, and even that difference of 1 degree has made such a difference. When I first got in, I felt like I was being crucified. Like I felt like literally like nails were going in the palms of my hands and the underside of my feet. And it's because that when you're swimming in cold water, your body gets a shock and it retreats. It pulls all of the all of the blood and the oxygen out of your limbs, and it retreats to the core to kind of protect the core. But then after a minute or two, it realizes, hey, you're still alive, and then everything equalizes and it feels fine again. So it's just getting over, that terror of being frozen to death. But it's amazing how much of it is a mindset. It's incredible how much of it is a mindset. So when I first got in, I started going, like my breathing got really, really, really short. But I knew that I had done this all my life, and I don't know why I was having such a hard time of it this time. So the first time I went in, I was very, very cold, and I went in and swam right back out again and got out again. And then I went in again, like I did about 2 or 3 loops, just really quickly, in, out, in, out, in, out. But if you do that, you don't give yourself enough time to acclimatize to the situation you're in. So I've been staying in longer and longer, and now I can swim all the way across the river and back, which, well, you'd have to swim back. There's no other way, because on the other side is another county, and the nearest road is about 6 miles away on that side. So you have to swim back to get back to the car and your clothes and everything. So it's a very good motivator, I'll tell you that much. We always swim with a float and with somebody there as well. So you never go swimming on your own for safety reasons. But I have found myself it's easier and easier to get in the water. We've also been having such incredibly nice weather as well. So it's quite lucky. It's quite nice that we're able to do that we're able to get into the water, and it is heating up slowly, very slowly. Now, river water is always going to be colder than the sea because it's constantly moving. And the heat isn't maintained. So, or like a lake would be warmer than a river, but the river is always moving, so it's always bringing new cold water from the mountains or from the rest of the country. So it takes a long time for the river to heat up, but once it it doesn't have this like cooling sensation, it doesn't have this slow cooling either. When it's colder, it just gets colder really quick as well, because it's constantly renewing. And it's like a meditation for me, as much as knitting is. Swimming is even more so, because you feel weightless and you have to concentrate on swimming. There's no other distractions there. There's no phone, there's no music, there's no, there's you in the water and the birds flying over your head and the sound of the riverside. And yeah, I physically need to be dunked in water to be disconnected from media devices. Isn't that sad? But at the same time, we were talking about this on the VKN, it has brought me so much closer to people, and they make me feel so much better about everything that I'm dealing with, and that, it makes me happy that I can help people join in, and people who need to vent about something can come on, and we all have our different perspectives on life, and we're able to maybe discuss why they're feeling like that. And so media does have a place, but I think nature is also amazing. Oh my gosh. But I do need to be physically dunked in water to be separated from my phone and my knitting. How bad is that? So I don't have any past disasters to show you today, unfortunately. I know how much you all love it so much. In case anybody's wondering what I'm wearing, it's my featherweight cardigan by Hannah Fettig, which is knit out of Manos del Uruguay Marina lace weight in the wasabi colorway and the petrol colorway. And if anyone's interested, I think I've seen a jumper design situation going on. I think it's called Knitterator. And they have this ombre stripe thing. I think they work it out in an app that you buy. I worked it out myself. But if anyone is interested, you should have a look and see. I'll try and find it and put it in the show notes for you. And you can have a look and see if it's something you might be interested in. But hopefully I am working on some not so disastrous things. Oh, I have been spinning, if anyone is interested. It's still the same old merino fleece, still pretty bog standard, but I did get quite a lot done. I went to a knit night, and my fellow knit nighter, my spinner friend, we taught each other how to long draw, which was really, really cool. But you have to long draw with a very long staple. Well, not a very long staple. I suppose you could do it. I don't know. I've been feeling a bit nervous about doing it with the merino because it's very clumpy and it's not the cleanest. So if you pull back too fast, it kind of can get caught up in some dirt and just like pull the whole thing, and then you're like, oh crap. So it's all about the prep. It's all about that prep. No, but yeah, it's definitely with spinning, it's all about having the wool prepped properly, because if it's got dirt in it or grease in it or anything like that, it's just going to be more difficult to spin. But I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to clean it properly. So I've cleaned it so many times and it's still the same. So, and any more cleaning is going to felt it even worse than it's already felted. So I'm just going to brush it out and spin it as slowly as I need to. So what I'm going to do now for the rest of the week is go to work, knit some more on the sockhead hat, although I'd probably be finished by the end of the day. My gosh, it's so fast. I know the sockhead is probably meant to be knit on like 2.75 needles or 2.5 needles, but ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm knitting it on 4s. There you go. Happy days. So I think I've got so much to do at the moment. I'm really excited. I'm really grateful that I have so many hobbies that I can choose to do and time and space to do them, because I don't have any particular demands on my time, which is so great. And I just wanted to put that out into the universe, that I am so grateful for the time that I have to spend doing the things I love and with the people I love. And I include every single person that is watching this podcast, because it makes me so happy to know that you're watching, and to know that you care, and to know that you're interested, and it makes me really happy. And I hope that I do produce something that you enjoy watching and like seeing. Okay, guys. I will see you and talk to you later. I won't guarantee next week, because I didn't podcast last week, and that's okay. I didn't emotionally feel like it. I've been having a bit of an emotional roller coaster of just lots of stuff I need to get done, and that's okay too. So I love you all to bits and pieces, tiny ones, teeny weeny ones, atom sized.